Yeah, adrenaline can carry you for a fair while. The season had cut off, people wanted to sell stock, so it was 7-day-a-week stuff for a while. I was feeling crook. I went to the doctor, he gave me an aspro, sent me home, and then the following, it was a Friday night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, woke up, really tight chest, and I thought it was a heart attack, really did, and called out to the wife and took us up to the emergency. By sun up the next morning, sun was just coming up, the ambulance wheeled into a regional hospital, into emergency, and got in there. Through the morning they did tests, and the good doctor came and saw me. He said, look, you've got a collapsed lung, the other one's not too good, probably it's been down for a while, he said, and there's 2 litres of fluid that have built up, and I think the fluid's got real thick and syrupy. I think you're going to be a surgery job. So I said, oh, whatever it is, it is. So they put me in the wards for the day, and through the day I got real bad ripping pain down the side, and they took me down into ICU. This is in the public section, went in on the ambulance on the public section. And down in the public, it's a bit like Beirut, it was a bit mayhem. Anyway, we're in this little cubicle there, and the good doctor came in, and he's going to have a go to try and drain this stuff off. So we tarp up, everything gets tarped up, lie me on the side. They do all this through local anaesthetic, a few jabs, and with his pipe into my back, he goes to try and drain this stuff off. So he has one go, can't get it. So I'm just sitting around there, and a little while back later he came in, he said, I'm going to have another go. See, I think I might be able to get some of it. So all right, we tarp up, jab up, in he goes with the pipe. He drains it, and he just shook his head. You're going to be a surgery. You know, it's just too thick and syrupy. It's been down for too long. So, all right, that's okay. So I'm just sitting around in the little cubicle there with the little male nurse, and this big, tall, lanky prick comes in, arrogant, came in by himself, and he says he's going to have a go. So a little male nurse here, he shook his head, he didn't know, so I said, oh, it is what it is. So on the side we go, tarp up, jab up, in he went with a pipe. I could feel him digging around my back. Next thing, he must have went over too far. I think that's what happened. Next thing, it felt like my whole gut muscle just felt like a broken two, and I screamed out, fuck! It was pain like I've never have had, just this sharp pain. I thought he'd ripped me in two. And I obviously got the pipe out, and I was just lying there on that bed, just arched up a bit, and when I looked around, the room was full of doctors. They came from everywhere. They'd realised something had gone wrong, or whether he was supposed to be there, I don't even know. But anyway, they came in, and the good doctor, and none of them would look at me. They were all looking at the monitors up there, and the doctor looked at me, and I said, Doc, what's going on? He said, what did he say? He said, your heart is racing like a thoroughbred, and if we don't stop it, you won't hear my voice. So I knew things were pretty scary then. So he explained, we're going to have to lie you down, and that was a problem for me because I couldn't breathe. I was starting to panic, and I just couldn't breathe. But to lay flat was one thing, and then the other thing is when they tarp up the next time, everything had to be covered, face, and I was getting claustrophobic. That was really, really scary. And he explained that they were going to put a thing through my neck into my heart, was a dousing of magnesium. It would go through the body, and I think even stop the heart, stop it from taking off, because the heart was at 200 revs a minute or second or whatever it is. And if that takes off, well, then it's just lights out. So and he said, we've got to go now, So they lay it back, I'm back, got the tarp there. I could feel him fiddling around there, and I got to say, no, I was fucking scared. I was frightened, I really was. And I just turned my head a little bit, just a little bit of daylight, and I just called out. I said, is there somebody out there? I just need to hear somebody talk. I just got to have somebody talk. I could just see him. There was a male nurse by the name of Brian. He was there, and he volunteered, and I said, Brian. He introduced himself, Brian. I couldn't see him, could hear him. I said, all right, Brian, I just need you to talk. I just got to hear a voice. I could feel him fiddling around here. And I said, just tell me the story of your family. And poor old Brian, he was uncomfortable about it. I guess all his peers were there and he's mumbling away. I said, no, keep going, keep going. He's telling me about I think he had a grown child, one in Sydney, one in Melbourne, and he's mumbling away. And then the good doctor interrupted. He said, okay, everybody, here we go. Tom, hang on, it's going to happen. So I just laid there and you could feel this flush of whatever it was, this flood that went through my body. I could feel it right through and even right down. I got down, it felt like it just leaked everywhere. And then there was just a deathly silence for a couple of seconds, and he said, Tom, you got to hang on. We've got to go again. And at that point, under that tarp, I thought, fuck, if this goes wrong here, it's just lights out. You don't know anymore. That's it. So I just hung on, and in they went again with their whatever they were doing. Went through. I could feel the flush, and right then, that was my close call. It grabbed. It stopped. Well, I guess it worked. I can still hear, because it held it. It got to 205, held back, and bit by bit over the next period. And they were able to take the tarp off and lift me up a little bit. I could crouch over and I could breathe, and the room's still full of doctors. I think every time it came back 10, one doctor would feel off, and I think after a fair while it got back to about 140, and they said, no, we've got it under control. You're going to go to surgery. So they let me settle down for a while and put me in a wheelchair and wheeled me out. And in this big circle there was Brian. They said, that's Brian, the guy you were talking to. And I called over and said, Brian, mate, I think you saved my life. Thank you very much. And he just was a bit embarrassed. And then I went up to the private ICU. Down there was Beirut. Up there was quiet, was peace. It was like heaven. And went there and we did the surgery thing, and the rest is history. I'm here to tell the story. But anyway, that was my story. Cheers.